Something that I've realized, and I tell everyone that I know, is that it's all in your mindset. Like, mindset is literally the difference between you getting what you want and you not getting what you want. It's the subtleties within your mind. I feel like I went most of my life not realizing this. Even when I first found out about manifestation and I was trying to manifest everything left and right, and I knew it was all happening and I knew I was manifesting everything, but I didn't know how I was doing it. So then when I started manifesting a lot of things I didn't want, I tried to recreate what I did before to manifest the things I did want, and it wasn't working because I didn't understand the methods and what it really took to put yourself in that place to attract the things you want versus putting yourself in the place to attract the things you don't want. And really it all comes down to your mindset. Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. This video is all about the things that I recently intentionally manifested and how I shifted and shaped my mindset to be able to manifest these things. I'm really excited to share this with you because in the past I've manifested some really great stuff, but because I wasn't aware of how to do it, I couldn't take my formula and give it to you. But now, because I have manifested a lot of things in my life that I didn't want, I really had to get clear. I really had to go within and look at what I was doing to attract the things that I didn't want into my life so that I can clear that out and start attracting the things that I do want in my life. And trust me, it's been a journey, and healing is not linear. Even though in the past month I attracted and manifested a really amazing trip, almost everything went well, but then I also attracted one thing that didn't go well and I was really upset about it. But then I took a step back and was like, okay, you have an option here, Julia. You can either let that negative thing that happened ruin the whole experience, or you can look at it for what it is, accept it, and move on. Try to learn from it, see what you can grow from this experience that you deemed as negative, and now transmute it into a positive experience. And that's what I do with everything. Anything negative that comes my way, I look at it, I accept it, I feel all the feelings I need to feel for it, I allow myself to heal within, and then I move forward and I reframe it into a positive thing. So that way I don't let the trajectory of my life get pushed off track by a negative experience, by delving into it and ruminating on it and really taking it to heart and making it become a part of my personality. It's like, no, okay, sometimes challenges in life happen. Sometimes we experience negative things, but what are we gonna do to make it better? How are we gonna move forward? And I'm proud of myself because in my past, when I was manifesting all my positive stuff, negative things would happen and then I would get off track. Then I would derail my life. Then I would be sulking and sad for weeks at a time. And that ultimately led to my sort of demise chapter of life, which I needed to go through. I needed to experience that so that way I could come out and be this person who feels like they can kind of do anything. They are grateful for everything. They are on this life journey and accepting whatever comes their way. That's how I feel now about myself. So I would say the major mindset change that I made was accepting everything and trying to look at it from a neutral point of view. Like detaching myself from the judgment of this is positive, this is negative, this is good, this is bad. Yes, some things are inherently positive, negative, good, bad, whatever, we get that. But can I detach my perspective to just see it as neutral enough to realize, okay, what do I need to do to problem solve, to fix that, to take on the challenge, you know, whatever it may be, for something that normally I would deem as the worst thing ever or just mildly bad. I look at it and I accept it from a place of neutrality. And by doing that, it allows me to feel what I need to feel without adding on more feelings of shame or guilt or anger or whatever judgmental feelings that could come up around the feeling that I'm already feeling. Instead of adding on more layers of negative emotions, I'm able to be like, okay, this thing that I experienced was really upsetting and I need to cry. I need to let out all these tears, cry. And then once I'm done doing that, now what can I do that's positive to move me into a better state of mind? And that's what I did when the negative thing happened on my trip. I allowed myself to feel upset because it was upsetting to me. Then after I let that all out, I took into account the things I needed to do to problem solve to fix this situation the best that I could. And then I did those things, or if I couldn't do them in the moment, I realized, okay, I will do it when I get the moment to do that. But now that I'm out of that situation, situation. What can I do to make myself feel better? The first thing I did was I got myself a smoothie. I got myself some food I hadn't eaten that day. And I got myself healthy, organic, vegan food that I knew was going to nourish me. And then I also got myself a little indulgent, you know, sugary dessert. That probably definitely is not going to nourish me, but kind of just felt good to have in the moment. Whatever. And then I felt clear enough after I had my food, my smoothie, to go back and problem solve more on the situation until the point where I just had to let it go. I had to accept this is what it is, but it's not going to derail my life. It's not going to ruin my trip, and I am going to enjoy the rest of my time that I have here. So that is one thing that I've really done to keep my mindset open to receiving guidance from the universe and positivity in any form that it may come in, because I don't let myself stay in those lower negative states for longer than necessary. Yes, sometimes we gotta dip down and feel whatever is flowing through our body, but once we feel it, we can heal it and we can move on. We don't have to stay in it and linger in it and ruminate there. We can move forward. So that is one of the major things that I have been doing for, I want to say, almost a year now, and it has made a world of difference. At first it took me a little longer to bounce back, but now I'm able to bounce back pretty quickly, and that has made me be able to manifest more and more positive things at a faster and faster rate. The next thing that I've done to shift my mindset into being a more positive one is to really relish in gratitude, to really spend a lot of time in gratitude. And anytime I feel like I want to shame myself for something that is just who I am or the privilege that I've gotten to experience, I change it. I reframe it in my mind and I'm like, wait a second. For example, let's use the fact that I live with my family right now. I used to feel so much shame and guilt for living with my family in my 20s after already living on my own and experiencing that experience. I also had somebody in my life who would make me feel low-key bad about it. He would repeatedly bring up the fact that I live with my parents in a way that sounded judgmental and negative to me. Eventually, I was like, you know what? Me feeling shameful and guilty for living with my family is not helping anyone. It's not helping me. It's not helping my family. It's not helping me move out any faster. It's just making me feel embarrassed and ashamed for the reality of my situation when I don't need to. So I stepped away from that. I detached from those feelings and I looked at it from a different perspective of, wait a second, I'm actually grateful that my family has allowed me to live here while I am rebuilding my life and becoming the person that I always wanted to be. And you know what? I think my family likes having me here, because if they didn't, they would complain about it. And have they ever really complained about me being here? Nope. I think I actually helped them by being here, by being full of positive energy and bringing lightness and my beautiful cat to this household. I think I'm bringing good energy to them, and if they really didn't want me here, they would ask me to leave, but they don't. So I am grateful for this experience, and by being grateful for my privilege and the kindness of my family to allow me to live here and save my money, I've actually been able to save my money and make more money. Because I'm able to do that, I don't have to struggle, I don't have to be in a lack mindset, and that will actually allow me to afford to move somewhere where I want to live and be able to sustain that. Because the first time around, I didn't know what I was doing and I couldn't sustain living on my own because I spent all my money. Even though I made a lot, I quickly manifested it to go somewhere else. So now that I have this experience, I can learn how to cultivate a financial independence that I can sustain in the long term, because I have learned my lessons with spending money on things that aren't going to create assets for me in the future or investments, you know, that type of thing. So because I have this experience of being with my family, I can now change the trajectory of my life. Whereas I don't know if I would have been able to do that before. Who knows if I'd never experienced the ups and downs of business. So that's how I was able to reframe my shame and guilt into gratitude. And I have done that with many different things to the point where it's almost so natural for me that I don't even realize I'm doing it. And I will definitely get into that on one of my manifestations, but let's go ahead and get into what I have manifested recently that I'm so happy about. Okay, so the first thing I manifested was my birthday trip to LA. And this one was a multi-part manifestation. One, I manifested manifested being able to drive my brother's car from Palo Alto to Los Angeles. And it's kind of funny because his car is actually my old car, and that was the car that I always had when I was in LA. So it was a very like nostalgic trip for me in a very beautiful way. I was also able to use that car to go visit my friend Brooke in San Diego, and I also got to use the car to go visit my aunt in Apple Valley, or Victorville, which is basically the same thing. It's kind of just like the desert, like an hour and 45 minutes outside of LA. So I really loved that manifestation because it gave me the opportunity to really be in a place that I am thinking about moving to in the future and experiencing it again from the perspective of somebody who lives there. Because somebody who lives there would have a house to go to or an apartment to go to. I got to stay with my friend in her guest room, which was like basically me having my own room. And I got to have a vehicle, which was the vehicle that I always drove when I was there, which gave me the opportunity to drive wherever I wanted to go. So I really got to be in the mindset of acting as if, because I was being as if, because I was literally doing the things that I would do if I lived there. I drove to the Whole Foods, I drove to the coffee shop, I drove to the acai bowl place, the food place, whatever. All the things I would do if I was still living in LA, I got to experience firsthand through this trip. So not only was this trip a manifestation that I manifested, but it was also like a physical in real life vision board of what my life would be like if I was living in LA and how I would want to experience it. And the reason that was so great is because we don't manifest what we want. We manifest what we are. So if I am being a person that lives in LA for 2 weeks, then it's going to be a lot easier for me to manifest being a person that lives in LA for a year or 2 or however long that I want to live there, just by literally putting myself in that place and experiencing it. It also pulls in the law of proximity. So by being in a place that you want to be, you can then make friends with the people that live there. You can learn your driving route, learn your favorite coffee shop, learn the place where you want to go to the gym, learn the grocery store that you're going to regularly go to, and then it feels like, oh, this really is my life. Next thing I manifested was, maybe, I don't know if this really was a manifestation, but I see angel numbers everywhere all the time. And I think because I see them all the time, it causes me to see more, you know, law of attraction. So the specific angel number that I saw repeatedly, like nonstop while I was there, was 777. I saw it on like every license plate. I see it on every billboard. I see it on basically anything that had numbers. And if you guys are familiar with angel numbers, you would know that 777 means luck. Then one of my friends, as a little birthday gift to me, gave me 2 lottery tickets. I actually haven't scratched them out. I need to do that. I'll probably do that today. But to me, it's not even about whether I win or not. It's just like lottery and luck, they go together. 777, luck. It's just all symbols of I am lucky. I'm a lucky girl. Lucky girl syndrome. So I decided to take those symbols and see that for myself, that I am lucky. Whatever I need, whatever I want, it will come to me when I need it. So that was just a manifestation, a symbolism that showed me I am fully taken care of by the universe and I have luck everywhere I go. Okay, this one is probably one of my favorite manifestations, but on my birthday, which is July 4th, I got to see the fireworks, which of course I did. There's fireworks everywhere on July 4th, but I wanted to specifically see the Marina fireworks, and I didn't know how I was gonna see it because me and my friend Rachel, we spent the day painting cute paintings in the park, and by the time the fireworks were about to start, we were 45 minutes away from Marina. And one of the GPSs said that it was going to take us an hour to get there. The other GPS said 45 minutes. I was like, get rid of the GPS that says an hour, even though that one was more accurate with traffic, and the one that we were using was the car GPS, which doesn't really track the traffic. I was like, I'm gonna be delusional here, and I'm gonna believe the one that's telling me what I want to see. And you know what is crazy? That one ended up being correct. But as I was approaching the fireworks location, I realized that the roads were blocked off, and I didn't know how to get there because the road that I typically would get to the Marina area was blocked off, and I didn't know a way around it. So I was like, okay, let's go to Playa Vista maybe. But then I realized, okay, that road is blocked off as well, and even if I did get around it, there's gonna be so many people and so much traffic, I don't know if we'll see them. So the clock was running down to the final minute, and I get this like intuitive feeling to just pull over to this like coned area off of the Marina freeway, which is the 90. So we were at the end of the exit of the 90, right in front of a traffic light, and there was 3 lanes, and I wanted to go in the left lane because that's where I wanted to turn to. So I went in the coned area, which was the left lane. And then I realized, wait, I can't turn left because it's blocked off. But If I go right, I might miss the fireworks because that's going further away. And before I knew it, the fireworks started shooting off right to my left, like perfect view. So I looked at Rachel and was like, oh my God, we can see them from here. Why don't we just stay here for 20 minutes? The roads are blocked off anyway. There's one traffic person. What's he really gonna do? And as I was saying this to her, a bunch of cars started pulling over in the other lane to watch them as well. And we were front row car for this experience. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. We rolled down the windows, put the car in park, and we watched the fireworks from the car, which worked out better than what we would have done because neither of us wanted to get out of the car. It was kind of chilly and we were in high shoes and we didn't want to walk. So we literally got to sit in a comfortable car with a perfect air temperature and just watch the fireworks. The craziest part about this was I literally didn't know how we were going to do it. I just didn't know, but I was like, you know what, I trust that we are going to see the fireworks no matter what, and I'm just going to allow whatever happens to happen. And that is what happened. So when you let go of your expectations and what you think is the right plan, the right way, sometimes it will allow you to have space open within to be guided by your higher self, the universe, or whatever you believe in, to allow for a better result to happen. And that is what happened. And then after we saw those fireworks, we took the scenic route home and stumbled upon an entire city view of fireworks just going off. So we got to watch those as well. And it just worked out so perfectly. I was so grateful. It was a great experience. And it was something we could have never planned. There's this saying, actually. It goes something like, when we plan things, God laughs at our plans or something. I don't know. You probably know better than me. Wow, there's so many things that I've manifested that I feel like I'm gonna have to make a whole nother video on this, but I just want to mention one last thing that I specifically intentionally manifested, which was I have been vegan for about 7 years, maybe like 7.5 years now. And I don't have too many vegan friends. I've had a few here and there, mostly in LA because I feel like it's just like more of a common thing to be vegetarian or vegan there. I do have like quite a few vegetarian friends and I really appreciate that because to me like being vegan and vegetarian is very similar. And because I was vegetarian for most of my life anyway, I can just relate. So I wanted to attract more vegan/vegetarian friends in my life. It's funny because the friend that I visited, Rachel, she's never really been vegetarian. She's always kind of eaten a vegetarian diet. And then when I went to visit her this time around, she told me she was starting to cut out dairy. And I was like, wait a second, you're not eating meat anymore because it makes your stomach hurt, and you're not eating dairy. She hasn't really eaten meat in a while and she never really ate it that much before that, but it was just really interesting that that was the case. And her friend Charlie that she lives with has recently gone vegetarian in the past year. So that was interesting because at this point they run a vegetarian household, because in her previous houses that was never the case because she lived with people who ate meat. So that was an interesting little thing that I noted in my mind. And then even before the trip, I had met 2 people that were vegan and vegetarian. One of them I hung out with once, and then the other I met at a social event. So I was like, oh my gosh, like how cool. And the one that I met at a social event, I'm actually going to probably hang out with next week with our other friend. So I was like, oh my gosh, new friends, and one of them is vegan. And then the person that I hung out with once, I'll probably hang out with again soon. We were talking about making plans to get vegan food. I was like, am I making vegan friends? I think so. And it's interesting because I have been vegan a while and I never really set the intention to make more vegan vegetarian friends until literally recently, and it's actually happening. Like I opened myself up to it, and part of my limiting belief was there aren't any vegan people in Philly, which was a limiting belief that wasn't true because a few weeks ago before the trip I had went with my other friend to a vegan restaurant. She's not vegan but she likes vegan food, and we started talking to the people sitting next to us and I was like, are you vegan? And the guy was like, yeah, I am vegan. I've been vegan for 7 years. My wife is vegan, blah, 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 blah. I was like, vegan people exist. So literally the next day after that was when I met the vegan person at the social event. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then on my airplane ride, the girl sitting right next to me on the plane happened to be vegan. And I found this out because she literally opened up a pamphlet of like the food options on the United plane, and it showed a just egg breakfast sandwich that was vegan. And she's like, oh my God, it's so cool. I got to take a picture of this. It's vegan. And I was like, wait a second, are you vegan? And she was like, yes, I am. I was like, oh my God, god, so am I. And then we literally talked, like, I kid you not, half the plane ride about all the vegan spots in Philly that we like, and just like vegan food stuff and all, you know, whatever in general. We didn't end up becoming friends. We were more like airplane friends, but I still just thought it was so cool that I was attracting more vegan people into my life, because that was just something that I thought I wasn't going to be able to do, because I thought there was a lack of people that didn't eat meat, when I just was being closed off and having a limiting belief about it. So ever since I got rid of that limiting belief, it's opened me up to meeting a lot more people who are vegan or vegetarian. And it's been really exciting for me, because I was like, you know what? If I can eliminate that limiting belief, what other limiting belief can I eliminate from here? So that's the beauty of intentionally manifesting stuff. It makes you feel like the world is more open to who you are and what you want to attract, and that is a beautiful thing. And I will say this, no matter what, we are always manifesting. This world is our creation. We are creating it as we go. So if you want it to be a beautiful place where people are like you, and you can find a community, and you can experience joy and care and love and peace and harmony, you have to create that within you. Because if you create that within you, it's gonna radiate out, and that is what you're gonna see all around you. So that being said, I want to leave you guys off with this little reminder. How would you act if you knew it would all work out? Think about that. If you knew you were going to get the life that you desire, no matter what, how would you act? How would you be? How would you exist? And that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. Bye!